Merry Christmas. My name is Darius King, and this is Metalhead.
I'm Metalhead.
This is the time of year where every other Fantano clone likes to do their top 10 lists, and we review boomer music, so we don't do a lot of new music. But we did enough this year, and we wanted to share with you some of our favorites. But as we look back on the year, we also wanted to reflect on the excellent and constant growth that you guys provided us with over the year, and we wanted to show our appreciation and gratitude for all of you.
Do I get scotch too?
Not with that outfit. We have the running list of our public subscribers out here. Of course, this doesn't cover all of them, but we also wanted to recognize a few guys that definitely got our attention, starting with...
I think one of the first people that got my attention was Fets, definitely.
Fets, no question. The legend, Fets, who's always on the thing Maiden and Rush.
Maiden and
Rush are his thing. Two guys that are on pretty much every single video. Shout out to Fabian, Brisbane Prague movement himself. And also James Cross. Even on our SIW caster video, which nobody fucking watched, he was even on that one. So those two guys are legends. Sophie Jones with the supportive comments. Remember in the Dream Theater video, she talked me out of turning the car on with a garage door closed. She saved my life, so thank you, Sophie, for saving my life. Oh, Michael in New Jersey.
The thing I really noticed about
Mr. New Jersey
himself, his very intricate, long-lasting comments, and it was always very enjoyable to read, and sometimes I go back on them.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And a guy who knows very much how to get what he wants. Gabriel wants a Queen 2 review, and he wants it fucking now. And also, Mars Volta. Mars Volta actually looks kind of interesting. Full disclosure, I know I'm supposed to be like Mr. Prague and all this kind of stuff. I had not heard of Mars Volta until Gabriel told us about Mars Volta, but actually I think there's some interviews of Neil Peart talking about Mars Volta. Fantano even did a tier list on Mars Volta. That looks like an interesting one. So Gabriel, please don't stop commenting. We want to hear what else we should do. And of course, all the guys who hit us up on our social media pages, which it's in the beginning of all our videos. You guys should all go follow them. But Sultan, who hits us up on Instagram as well. And also, shout out to that one guy who's like the only guy who's ever left a post on our Reddit who wants us to do that obscure rap album.
Only person the entire...
Without further bovine excrement, our top 5 songs of 2021. Starting off at number 5. Way Too Sexy by Drake. I'm just kidding. No, we'll just pretend that both of those albums didn't happen.
Donda.
Yeah. Yeah. My real number 5, a little bit, might be of a shocker to you. The Time Machine by Iron Maiden. It was really the intro that I think is one of my favorites. This really creepy, haunting guitar that starts off this kind of thing. Maiden is not famous for their, really huge build-ups. They like to just, go right into it. I am a fan of the build-up, so I love this. And also the meat of the song, too, is just pounding, relentless, in your face. Granted, like Maiden always is, but it's free of any of the camp that I think we know Maiden for. It's like all 100% serious stuff.
I didn't think you picked the Time Machine out of like anything on that album.
That's really the only one worth this list. I thought Senjutsu was fantastic for what I was expecting.
Yeah, no, me too. So my number 5 would be Hypersonic, LTE 3.
Wow.
I remember when we were getting into LTE, you were warning me that my brain would melt listening to it, which it did a few times.
Actually, when I was getting you into LTE, that was our reaction video.
Yes, that album is a real mouthful. Something you really got to listen to probably 6 times each song to even understand what's happening. Hypersonic, the reason why I picked it is that my top 5 is it's probably the most explosive to me. It's the most well structured because they'll just play in certain keys or majors, and then they'll just say, okay, we'll take this part from this and put this together and we'll make this.
They're playing in the majors. They're playing some baseball.
Most people would probably try to do that and it would sound just like a car accident.
I think it sounds like a car accident, but it sounds like a really, really cool car accident, like one of those Discovery Channel shows where they like really slow it down and you're like, whoa, that's pretty fucking badass.
And not to mention that made it cooler was the signed album from Jordan.
Oh, that was the cream of the crop right there.
That was.
Number 4, Better Days Ahead by Pat Metheny. I think this version is way better than the Letter from Home version. I love this style of jazz. I thought two guys he pulled for this, or the one guy, I don't know, because they're literally twins. But where does he find these guys? How does he find musicians like this? Well, he is Pat Metheny though. But I love the way more relaxed version. Really, that whole album was stellar. Just the way they made it sound, considering it was a live album, and that speaks to the musicianship that we're talking about here.
My number 4, no surprise from Iron Maiden Senjutsu, is The Writing on the Wall.
I do like that one.
Yeah, it's almost radical for them to do something other than what they usually do. Westerny, Roadhouse Blue type sound was, at my first couple listens, really turned me off to it. But then I channeled the inner change for what I was expecting. Very well done, very well structured. Obviously, Bruce and his vocals, not the most stellar at this certain time.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I was going to say about my Senjutsu pick, is that Bruce was the only detractor, but considering what he was dealing with at the time, you could tell he gave it his all.
Yes, he did give it his all, which you can't take away from him.
Which wasn't quite enough for these songs, but you got to give him credit. Number 3, this might be a shocker for you too, being at number 3. A View from the Top of the World by Dream Theater. This is a song that is 20 minutes somehow, and I think what it does the best is that it doesn't feel like a 20-minute song whatsoever. It's so well structured. Even some of their other stuff like Octavarium, you can tell it's a 20-minute song. It goes on for a while, but if I were to just be blindfolded listening to this thing, there's so many excellent moving parts. They're so well intertwined. It sounds like maybe 8 minutes max.
I love the Batman thing, which I think we did that off camera.
Yeah, and then we watched the documentary, and that was exactly what they were going for, so it worked out perfectly. But yes, the Batman thing to start it off. John Mayung's bass tone, holy shit. I think they said they used a neural plugin, but he didn't want to elaborate, as we saw. The clean section where he does that kind of mirror-esque riff, that change of seasons-esque solo, and then the famous Mission Impossible riff. Highlight of the song there. Yes, it is a little bit derivative of their other stuff, which I thought was kind of disappointing. Still an excellent song. That's my number 3.
My number 3 is again Iron Maiden, Death of the Celts. A little long in the runtime, which I was surprised to see. It was really cool to see them pull 12-minute songs out and be so well structured for Iron Maiden. As much as I love Iron Maiden, they do follow their formula pretty well.
That was a quality song. I just remember the first 6 minutes not needing to be there.
Yeah.
Number 2, Mr. Wolfgang with
Really?
Mr. Ed. Yes, that's right, ahead of Dream Theater. Mr. Ed is a phenomenal song. He put together everything by himself, pretty much a one-man crew, and he knows his instruments well. My favorite part about this one is how well the kick drum follows the main riff of the guitar, but it's just an overall catchy song. It's not the proggiest, it's not the most intense, but it's really a radio hit that I could actually see myself playing to death and putting it on loop, and I actually did. It's actually one of my top on my Apple Music replay.
I honestly didn't think you'd pick a single song from that.
So yes, that is the original Formula That Works album, but it works for a reason. We did say it works.
My number 2, A View from the Top of the World.
Wow.
I would have to agree, 20 minutes, it doesn't feel 20 minutes, but I think there's certain chunks that could be really taken down. I thought the cello section, funny as it is to see Jordan just hunched over on his iPad doing it, it's still so well placed, so well put together. The Batman intro definitely, and the Mission Impossible riff was perfect. It's what I was expecting. The fact that he can still make that exact same noise and composition with his iPad is just incredible.
And then I have to pay a celloist on tour. Speaking of which, come catch both of us in Florida, in Orlando, at the Dream Theater show.
Yes.
For my number 1, The Passage of Time by LTE. When this first came out, I don't think you could have captured more of my feelings than what you told me when you first reacted to this, of how this was just an explosion of music. Shout out to whoever mixed that album, because doing some mixing myself, I would have died just like in the first 8 bars, trying to make every instrument heard.
That one's really hard for me even now to like comprehend that song.
It just has so much energy to it too, on top of the musicianship. And I feel like songs like that are exactly where Jordan's alien noises belong.
Yes.
When John and Jordan do the crazy, rite of passage nonsense, it may sound a little bit out of place on Dream Theater records, but there it is exactly what the song needs. And that is why it is prominently hanging in my SIW South studio.
Can you guess my number 1?
Is it Iron Maiden?
No.
Is it Transcending Time?
Yeah.
Holy shit, this is your number 1? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna, I can already see the comment section burning.
When I watched that documentary after, how they talked about how they made it in major key to make it sound more uplifting, like what Rush does, which was funny because I was like, because I love Rush. That song really spoke to me, and I didn't really understand why at first until I watched that. Not only is the structure perfect, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of James, but I thought James was excellent. Except for that one part in the end where they're doing, I see what they were going for with the vocals, where he's trying to say transcending time, and then he staggers behind himself saying it again. It sounded like a Christmas carol.
You don't like Christmas carols? What are you in it? I'm gonna have to censor that.
From the composition to the lyrics to the musicianship, and I love Jordan's outro, the piano.
Absolutely.
Perfect. That's what I love Jordan for, not the crazy nonsense that he loves to do. I mean, you see the look on his face when we saw him live when he was doing it. That'd have to be my number one.
A little bit of a twist here. My number one song on this list is not my favorite song of the year. My number 0, SIW show with The Mirror. By far my favorite song of the year because I think it's better than the original. And the original kicks ass. And we can actually hear bass in this version.
I want to send it to John Young. See, like, what do you think?
That's how you get blocked.
Yeah.
Which you will all get to hear on 6 o'clock this Christmas morning. We will see you here then. But until then, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And we will see you at 6 o'clock on a Christmas morning. I don't know how the fuck people drink shit like this.